Hello world, how y'all doing? It's your boy Boss Rider checking in again for Navigate Logistics. I'd like to welcome y'all back to the channel. Can I please get that like? You can join the tribe and subscribe, and you can share if you really care. We out here doing some night riding. It's gonna be that type of week because how things started off this week. And today's topic is going to be carriers versus brokers. It's a very delicate situation right now. There's a lot of tension between the brokers and the carriers, in my opinion. And I just had an incident yesterday that pushed me to want to have this discussion. Yeah, y'all might not be able to see me, but I don't do it for all that. Just trying to get the information to you. So for those who don't know, I'm a spot market carrier, meaning I get my loads from the load board and I deal and negotiate the rates with brokers. And first and foremost, I do have good relationships with brokers. I'm not quite sure if the majority of them are agents, broker agents, or they're the brokers themselves. I don't ask those questions. Once I get the contact, I just work with them with the load. Some of them are, I know, broker agents. They'll send my rate, my bid on the loads to the brokers and do the negotiating for me and things like that, and they get back with me. But it's all the same. So let me just give you a rundown on what happened yesterday. I was picking up in Charlotte. I delivered that morning in Charlotte, and I had a load scheduled to pick up before 4:30 p.m. I got unloaded at my first stop. Picked up in Augusta that morning. I got unloaded at my first stop in Charlotte around 12:30, and I made it to the pickup around, let's say, about 1:30. Got there by 1:30. On my way to the pickup, I got a call from the broker, not the broker, but from the agency. They called me just to verify I was good for the pickup and what time I was gonna be there, and I let them know. Got there on time. Got to be there before 4:30 again. I get there, and it's 3 trucks ahead of me. So I walk to go check in, speak with the forklift driver, who's the only guy there, and he's the one doing the paperwork, loading the trucks and everything. And he tells me, yeah, I got 3 trucks ahead of you. It's gonna be a while. Just park over there and chill out. Okay, cool. I do that. Make sure my trailer is straight. Chop it up with a few other drivers. I probably should have got their name and stuff like that. It was a good conversation. So I'm chilling. It's moving kind of slow because there's only one forklift driver. He's loading trucks one by one. They called me around 4:30, 5 o'clock, the broker agency. It's not the broker himself. It's the agency, and it's different people calling. So they call about, let's see what time it is. It might be around 3:30. And they call before 4:30 or like that. So I'm like, yo, what's up? Hey, you got loaded? You got around there? Yeah, I got here. Mind you, each one of these logistic companies, these broker agencies, they'll have their own tracking system. They'll want you to download an app, so forth and so on. So this one particularly, they wanted you to download MacroPoint, which I already have on my other phone. So yeah, we got you there. What it's looking like. Well, I got 3 trucks ahead of me. They told me it's gonna be a while, but I'm here. cool. He's like, yeah, I guess they had some other trucks that they had running some of their loads. He was like, yeah, I see you got 2 trucks sitting there now. So, hey, just if you run into detention, make sure you put the in and out time on the bill of lading. You'll hear that a lot. Okay, cool. I did that. Around 5 o'clock, I just so happened to, I just checked the macro point. Because what happened was I did forget to go into the app itself and mark arrived. So I just went to check it, but when I checked it, it had already had me arrived and departed. I didn't pay no attention to that. I just looked at it. It won't let you correct or anything, so whatever's selected, you can't go back and unselect. So I ain't paying no attention to it. I got in the door around 6 p.m. and got finished loading about 7 p.m. 7:14. Okay, by that time I had started my clock around, around 8 o'clock that morning when I got loaded in Augusta. So I didn't have enough time to go ahead and finish that run, which was a 6-hour run from Charlotte to Jacksonville, Florida, where I'm leaving out of now. So I just shut it down right there at the shipper and finished the 10-hour break, which that was up at around 1:30 or around 1 o'clock in the morning, and did my pre-trip and everything, and I pulled out around 1:30. Got some fuel on the way, drove straight through, got down there to the receiver. Maybe about a quarter after 8, they started receiving from 8 to 10. So I had a tight window, so I had to drive straight through. Got it down there though. Thankfully, the people jumped right on it because I already had another load booked, a short run that I had to pick up by 11. So I get unloaded. It's about 9:30. Send my paperwork in. And I got the in and out times written down on the BOL, and I requested detention, of course, because I was there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get in the door till 6 o'clock. You want me to be there before 4:30, and I got there at 1:30. Most broker companies, agencies, they say any time. Detention is paid after 2 hours at the receiver or shipper. Most of the time it's 2 or 3 hours, depending on what the commodity and stuff like that. So if I got there at 1:30, 3:30 come around, I start going into detention. That's why the agency called me at 3:30, because they knew I got there at 1:30. They knew I was about to go into detention, and that's why he told me, hey, if you start going into detention, make sure you write it down. Okay, fast forward back to 9:45 in the morning when I send my paperwork in and I request for detention. Now, for those who don't know, Navigate Logistics is in partnership with Cloud Trucks LLC. You have to do your own research on Cloud Trucks LLC. You got some reviews, good and bad. I like Cloud Trucks. I'll probably do a video on that. But the main reason I like Cloud Trucks is because they pay me on delivery. When most of the time, and that's not normal. Most of the time, us carriers, we have to go through factoring, and that could probably take maybe 7 days before you get paid. Or you don't go through factoring, and you might have to wait 30 to 60 days before you get paid on a load. That's another issue. I just want to finish, finish what was going on here first. But anyway, I send the paperwork over. I requested detention. I get over here to my other pickup around, say about, it was only like 10, 15 minutes away. So I got there about 10 o'clock. I had to be there by 11, and that load had to be delivered by 2. Tight schedules, but like I said, I like to do these same day deliveries. A lot of time they pay a lot more, and my objective on that day was try to gross as much as I can on that day. I made to get those 2 deliveries and we got it done. But I got there at 10. By the time I get there to my second pickup, I'm getting an email from the broker telling me my detention request was denied because they can't validate that, I guess, that I was in detention or that I left, and which didn't make no sense to me because I'm on a trucking app, I'm on a tracking app for them, as well as with Cloud Trucks, who I partnered with. So you guys, I mean, so they were able to see exactly where I was at what time. We communicated because I talked to them on the phone. I was instructed to write the in and out times on the VOL, and that was done. So I'm like, what, you know, so what are we validating? You can call the shipper. I'm pretty sure the shipper's going to tell you what time they loaded me and what time I was out, because there's only one guy there, you know, so it shouldn't be that hard to figure out what's going on and validate it. That's when I figured out the contact that I got a good relationship with is just an agent, a broker agent. And he was telling me, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm telling the broker. But for some reason, he's saying because the app showed you had departed at 2:50, that's why he doesn't want to pay. It didn't make no sense. So I figured it out. They can go in there and they can mark arrived and departed on the app on their side. And that's one of the tricks they use. So anybody out there, if you're doing stuff on MacroPoint, that's a tip. Be aware of, they can go in there and mark you arrived and departed at their discretion. And I made a mental note of it because if it happens again, then I know to call them and send an email and let them know, hey, I didn't depart. What's going on with this app? So I can make sure they ain't gonna be able to get me out of my detention money, man. Time is money out here when you out here driving trucks. We are on a strict time limit with these electronic logs, and we don't have time. I don't have time to be out here wasting time. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like that. I didn't like how that played out, because I feel like they kind of robbed me out of the money that I deserved, because I got there on time. They say get there before 4:30. It's not my fault if the shipper don't order too many trucks to be shipped out on that day. I mean, he should have had more than one forklift drop. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I get paid to pick up a load and deliver it on time. That's my job. So whatever you guys can get from that scenario, please take heed on some of the things that's going out here. And my thing, back to the topic of discussion, brokers versus carriers. I might be a little biased because I'm a carrier myself, but it's just some stuff that I don't agree with and I don't understand. And the main thing is, us carriers, we get the job done. We pick the load up and we get it delivered. We get hassled all the time about what time you're gonna be there, what time, what you looking like, where you at. They want to track us. They want to call us. They give us all this hard time about this stuff, and we get it there because you can't be late out here. You can't be late. You can't have mistakes. If you do, they hold it against you. Brokers, their job is to contact shippers, negotiate, and try to bid on loads for them to move the loads for the shippers. A lot of times you'll have multiple brokers agreeing with a shipper to move one load. They underbid each other just like carriers do. Whoever get the lowest bid for the shipper, that's who the shipper's gonna go with. If you can move this product for such and such price cheaper than this next person, then go ahead. And if you're moving for them, then that's what it is. That's the name of the game. That's the business. Same thing with carriers. We bid on loads. Whoever has the lowest rate, whoever's gonna move that load for the lowest, that's who the broker's gonna get a load to. That's the nature of the business. But the brokers, it's just now been passed that the brokers have to show transparency on how much they get the load from the shipper for and how much they're taking out of the load. It's just now, you know. I'm 20 years in the business, and this business been going on long before I got my CDL and got in the business. For them to just not happen to do that is downright disrespectful. That is horrible, because they can take out whatever percentage they want to take out. They can get a load from a shipper for $1,000 and put it on a DAT board, on a load board for $300 and keep 7 of it. To me, that is just downright disrespectful. So I don't agree with that. They do have to show transparency now, so that's a plus. But the carriers do the majority of the work. We out here driving, sometimes all types of night, like I said, staying safe. We have all these rules and regulations that we gotta abide by. We have to spend the money to keep our equipment up to par. We're the ones sacrificing not being home with our families. Brokers, they go home every night. All they do is get the load from the shipper and post it on the load board. As carriers, sometimes we have to pay dispatchers, which I don't. I dispatch myself, but some carriers do have to come out, rely on dispatchers. That comes out of our bottom line. The broker takes their money off top. Majority of the time, you don't get fuel surcharge. So the fuel that you need to get that load delivered is coming out of that rate. It just leaves the carrier at a lot of disadvantage. And with this freight market where it is right now, it's the lowest it's been. All carrier expenses have went up while carrier rates have went down. It's just it's disrespectful. It's a horrible situation right now. A lot of people. So I understand why a lot of people are getting out of the business, parking their trucks, doing other things. I understand that. Fortunately, I got out here right in the middle of it, and I'm dedicated. I'm determined to stick it out. But as I look and assess the situation, it's a horrible situation. It's really, especially when carriers are responsible for doing the majority of the work. Like I said, we pick the load up, we get the load there, we keep it safe, secure. You gotta make sure you park in safe areas, because loads do get stolen and vandalism happens. So, we do a lot as far as making sure that load gets there safely and on time. And for us to have to pay so many people or get the last piece of the pie is not a good situation. And back to the topic at hand, as far as brokers versus carriers, when you talk to these brokers or the agents, a lot of them are disrespectful. They want to treat you like, you're up under them or something like that. That's kind of disrespectful either. I don't understand why they kind of try to talk to you a certain way. I'm always respectful and polite. That's how I build my relationships with the people I deal with. But some of these brokers can be downright nasty, hang up on you, let the phone ring forever. You call them, you give them updates, you ask them to call the receiver or shipper and let them know what time you're going to be there. Most of the time they don't do that. I did that yesterday for my second pickup, because I didn't leave till 11:05, and I had the route was 2 hours and 35 minutes before I could get to my delivery. That would have put me there at 1:50, which I had to be there at 2 o'clock. So I communicated with the broker agency, gave them an update. Hey, I'm just not leaving. I'm just not departing. Can you please let the receiver know that I'll be there at 1:50, which is before 2 o'clock. But I don't want to lay over with this because I got something planned already for the next day. I did that. I did my due diligence. I get over there at 1:55, and people didn't know I was coming. They didn't get notified from the broker. You know what I'm saying? It was just a mess. I did fortunately get that load off and got unloaded stuff like that. But those are some of the issues that I'm having, and I don't understand. And I wish the relationship between the brokers and the carriers was a lot better, because it needs improvement. It really does. It's hard to hold these brokers accountable when they don't pay on situations like with the detention pay. They will definitely hold you accountable if you're late with a load. You get service failure or anything, and it could be something out of your control, truck can break down or something like that. So they definitely hold us accountable in situations when situations occur. I'm not exactly sure how to hold brokers accountable. I know it's not easy accessible when it comes to trying to hold them accountable. So if you guys can leave some comments down in the comment section of how you feel, suggestions, I'm welcome to hear whatever you got to hear, because I'm out here doing what I got to do. I think that was an unfortunate situation what happened with that detention pay. I learned from it, because I ain't gonna let it happen again. As far as with these apps, if I see something marked me as departed or whatever like that, I'm gonna pick up the phone and call. I'm gonna see an email. I'm gonna have some receipts to show that this ain't what it is, and I'm gonna expect getting paid. I don't want to hear none of that. We can't validate when the validation is right there in front of your face. So, I hope you guys, was able to benefit from this little vent, this little rant. But it's just what happens when you out here. Some of the things you got to deal with. And hope everybody can continue to push forward with their goals and their aspirations. And if you're out there driving, staying safe out there. Thank you all for watching. Once again, can I please get that like? You can join the tribe and subscribe. And you can share if you really care. It's your boy Boss Rider checking out for Navigate Logistics. Peace.